So we have a talk now on mobile ads monetization, the tips and tricks that make the difference. And this is Oleg from Clever Ad Solutions, who is going to kick off and tell us all about that. Oleg, over to you, sir.
Hello, guys. I'm glad to see you all. My name is Oleg. I'm founder of PSV Game Studio and Hippa Kids Games. We are one of top 3 game publishers for mobile kids games. Also, we established our own monetization platform, which show us very good results, and we decided to market it. But before we start, I'd like to thank the organizers and UK and European community for the help Ukrainian people. As our development team is still in Ukraine, we feel your support very much. Thank you very much. Now, let's begin. At first, I will tell you something how we can set up monetization. Then I will give you some valuable advice about this. And then we will try to choose the best one. So let's begin. What shall we do and what shall we have not to do during ads monetization? Actually, if we will speak about monetization, it is divided into 2 parts. It is internal, it is in-app monetization and in-app ads monetization. We will speak today only about ads monetization, and it can be divided into 2 parts, internal and external. Speaking about internal part is about ads type, ads per daily active users, type of ads placement, metrics of ads engagement. Regarding external part of monetization, this is about waterfalls, this is about impressions, eCPM, price floors, and mediation platforms. Both parts should work in harmony. If one part is affected, another will not bring you money enough. So now we will speak about 4 ways to set up ads monetization. Why we should use ads? I'm jumping. Because 97% of mobile users are non-paying, and ads are only way to monetize them. But there are 4 ways. The first is the easiest way. This way is to use one ad network, AdMob, Unity Ads, Facebook Meta, or something another. The second way is very hard, but it can bring you much more money, is to create your in-house mediation solution. I think this makes sense if your daily ads turnover is more than $10,000, euros, pounds, something like this. If you don't have such numbers, this is some kind of losing the money. Classical mediation solution is some kind of compromise which significantly increases your revenue comparing to one network, and also decreases development time comparing to in-house mediation solutions. But you have still lots of handwork to do. And the last one is programmatic mediation. I think is the best way. Here you prevent 95% of handwork, which you have to do in classical solution. You don't need to set up waterfalls, to operate dashboards, and set up all other things. Now let's go directly to tips and tricks. The tip number 1, Google AdMob is network number one, but it's not only one. About 90% of mobile developers use AdMob as the main, and in 50% only one ad network. In such case, people shoot themselves in the foot because they are losing their money. The best idea is to use professional package mediation platform, so you don't need to reinvent the wheel, and it can increase your revenue up to 3 times. Actually, the goal of mediation is to create an honest competition between all ad networks, and in this case, your revenue will be maximized. Why? Because in different ad networks set different price for different user for different ad impression, and the mediation goal is to set the best price, to bring you the best price for every ad impression. Regarding integration, my advice is not to use lots of ad units of one type. If you will clone several rewarded ad units, it will have negative effect. If we will look here is in the game we use 3 placement for 3 rewarded ads. In this case, we will receive probably we will receive 3 same ads, and this will affect greatly on eCPM decay. The first ad will have eCPM 20 euros, the second 10 euros, and the third 6 euros. But if we will use only one ad placement, the ad networks will understand that previous ad was shown, and you will receive much better results. So 20, 16, and 14. And this gives us average eCPM something happens. Yes.
The joys of technology.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay. So in second, if we can see this is the real case. Delete raising extra ad units will increase your eCPM on 40–45%, probably. The next very important advice is to ask user consent. Actually, in lots of classical mediation solution, this option is not included as basement, as a standard, and in this case, you have two risks. If you will not ask and don't send the user permission to a network, some network will consider that user don't give you permission for ads personalization, and you will lose your revenue. And some networks will consider that user gives you access to his personal experience and will send you personalized ads. But as user don't give us such consider, you are at risk at huge penalties of EU and US government for that. So the micro tip here is to make more complicated user disagree of getting personalized ads. So you should ask user, but make the process of reject as complicated as you can. In this, yes. In this case, about 92% of users give you access for showing them personalized ads. And this is a very good result. So we maximize our ad revenue from one side, and from other side, we do what the governments have said. So user has ability to discard personalized ads. Now, very easy advice, don't forget about app.ads.txt. I was surprised, but lots of users, lots of developers still don't use app.ads.txt or don't keep them updated. In this case, we can see that this is one app before and after integrated app.ads.txt. We can see the revenue is 760, and here almost 900. The only difference is was implementing app.ads.txt. Actually, it is very easy advice, and try your best to use it. Very important thing is to look at your average daily revenue per user, but also look at LTV. If we will manage mediation effectiveness, the ADRPU is the best practice, but ADRPU can affect LTV. For example, if you start using interstitial in your mid-core game, you will increase your average daily revenue per user, but you will affect your retention, in turn churn rate, retention and churn rate, and in turn your revenue. What does it mean? This means that I recommend use interstitial in hyper-casual, of course, and in any games which has average engagement time about 1 hour. But if your engagement time more than 2 or 3 hours, using interstitials is not very good idea. But from other side, you should A/B test also user interstitial, and also very important thing, lots of networks like Wangle, like Uplovin, and like Iron Source, for example, using playable end cards. And these playable end cards annoys user greatly. You all probably know that when you're playing games and show rewarded, you should see video. You should close video, then you see some playable. And after closing playable, you have to close the last window. So you have to close your ad 3 times. This affects annoys user greatly. And lots of user doesn't like this. So my advice is to A/B test, then ask networks to disapprove playable end cards, and look how it affects on LTV and churn rate. The last today advice is to send impression level data to your analytics system. Even if you are indie developer, you can easily send impression level data to Firebase and then try T-ROAS campaign at Google Ads. It is much easier than it seems. Actually, setting up all this process will take about 1 or 2 hours and can increase your revenue up to 25–30%. Now, the last thing which I would like to speak is how to make a right choice. There are lots of mediation platforms. Google AdMob, Max, ironSource, our Clever Ads solution, Apadeal. How you should choose? Actually, I prefer you to use my solution, but to be honest, there are 3 essential points. Of course, profitability. When we speak about profitability, we look in average daily revenue per user metrics, simplicity of integration, and the tech stack. Regarding tech stack, we need to understand vitals, app not responder and crash rate, granular reporting possibility, and dashboard user friendliest level. I think in all mediation platforms, the numbers are the same. For example, Apadeal has a better BI, but much worse INR level. Regarding simplicity of integration, how easy is to integrate SDK? Do you need to integrate adapters for each ad network? How difficult is to set up any waterfalls? Do you need to create accounts and manage it in every network? It takes a lot of time. And last but not least, support responsiveness. For example, the support of AdMob is pain. The most important criteria is profitability. The best way to understand profitability is to run A/B test. I will tell you about A/B test in 2 or 3 minutes. Actually, let's look through our mediation platforms. The biggest still is AdMob. It is free, it's easy to integrate, it has very low INR rate, but support is pain, and you should manually set up and manage all waterfalls. Also, it's affiliated with the same ad networks, and actually when you're using AdMob, about 70 share of wallet of AdMob is about 75%. The next networks are ironSource Unity and Uploading Max. After merge ironSource and Unity, they have actually the same advantages and disadvantages. They has a low crash rate. They have good fill rate. All these networks have good fill rate in any geo. Regarding ironSource, you have pain with their support. It is only by email. Unity support is much better. Support of Uploading Max is very good for big clients, but for indie developers and small development teams, it is a little bit worse. Now let's go to programmatic mediations. They are Clever Ads Solutions and Apadeal. They both has one SDK for all ad networks. They have one account. In Apadeal, you can customize price waterfall, but you have higher INR rate. Also, it affiliated with Apadeal bid machine. Regarding Clever Ads, our Clever Ads solutions, we have turnkey solution, you have dedicated account manager, and you have, but you cannot customize your waterfalls. But we have very easy integration and very quick integration. So what mediation should you choose? Manual or programmatic? Like in a car, you have two options. You can do some shifts on manual gear, but automatic is preferable for me in most cases. So what mediation should you choose? The best way is to A/B test them. How should we run A/B test? We should run them at the same time for the same app with a similar size audiences. The best practice is stage a rollout in Google Ads on 50%. You should compare not only your eCPMs, but of course average daily revenue per users. You can see if you if you're afraid of some new mediation, you can manage small percentage of traffic to a new platform. Some of platforms, for example, ours can provide you no loss guarantee. So we guarantee that you will not lose money due to A/B test. If our competitor will beat us, we will cover the difference. And then you will check the results. Very, very simple test. You see the 50-50 audience. You see the same date, the same app, and actually the little bit different revenue. In one case is almost 400, in other case almost 500. So mediation platform B in this case is better. However, my advice is to use independent programmatic platform with a hybrid mediation model. If you will use it, you will do more effectively in lots of things. Actually, use my tips and tricks and enjoy the cash flow. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you. I love that comparison chart you gave about the different platforms and all the pros and cons. That was great to see. I think it's really important to sort of think about kind of the value add that we're getting from. I think in some ways it ties us back to what Kim was talking about with paying attention to the partners that you're working with. She was talking about from more the balance between user acquisition and in terms of revenue. Obviously, you were focusing much more on the revenue side of things.
Yeah.
If there was one trick that you think people are missing, what would that one trick be?
One trick is A/B test. Always A/B test everything. A/B test is the best way to understand are you doing right or you are mistaken.
Yeah, I think, I mean, obviously that's key. I mean, getting that right. We've got a question, actually. I'm going to just pass the mic over here.
Yes. When you say one account with your ad network, does that mean one source of income? Because we have to deal with sources of income from all over the place.
Yes, you have one source of income. Both Upper Deal and Clever Ad Solution, and we manage all revenue streams to one account and then pay it directly. It's very useful for lots of European countries because in this case we pay from some offshore countries to prevent your VAT strikes.
Yeah, getting efficiencies in that space, I can see that makes sense. Does anyone else have a quick question? In which case I'm going to say thank Oleg very much. Thank you for that.